There's something liberating about hitting your 70s. It's like life finally hands you permission to let go of all the things that used to weigh you down. But here's the catch: many of us don't realize just how much we're still carrying. The expectations, the worries, the shoulds that no longer serve us. Today, I want to talk about the 7 things that truly don't matter anymore after 70, and why releasing them might just be the key to your happiest years yet. Now, I know what you might be thinking, easy for you to say. But hear me out, this isn't about giving up or losing anything. It's about making room for what really matters. So, let's dive in. Thing number 1, what other people think. Remember when you used to stress over whether your neighbors approved of your lawn or what your relatives whispered at family gatherings? Here's the beautiful truth. After 70, other people's opinions are like background noise. You can acknowledge them, but you don't have to tune in. Take my friend George, a retired teacher. He spent years dressing appropriately for his community, even if it meant wearing stiff suits in summer. Then one day, he showed up to our book club in bright red sneakers and the comfiest Hawaiian shirt you've ever seen. You know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's when it hit him, all those years of worrying. And no one really cared as much as he thought they did. The freedom comes when you realize this is your life, your time, and your comfort matters more than anyone's passing judgment. Thing number 2, keeping up with trends. There's a special kind of exhaustion that comes from trying to stay relevant, whether it's the latest tech gadget, fashion trend, or social media platform. But here's a little secret. After 70, you've earned the right to opt out of the rat race. Consider Martha, a former librarian who felt pressured to join every new app her grandkids mentioned. One day, she decided to keep her flip phone and only check email twice a week. And guess what? Her stress levels dropped, and she suddenly had hours more each week for her beloved garden and mystery novels. This isn't about resisting change, it's about choosing what truly adds value to your life and letting the rest go without guilt. Thing number 3, perfection. How many years did we spend chasing perfect? The perfect home, the perfect appearance, the perfect holiday gatherings. After 70, perfection isn't just unrealistic, it's downright unnecessary. My neighbor Helen used to host immaculate dinner parties where no spoon was out of place. Then one year, she served store-bought pie on mismatched plates because her arthritis was acting up. And something magical happened. People relaxed. The conversation flowed easier. That imperfect evening became everyone's favorite memory. The lesson? Life's richest moments often happen when we let go of the need to control every detail. A thought to ponder. As we wrap up this first part, I'd love you to reflect. Which of these 3 things have you been holding on to without realizing it? The opinions, the trends, or the pursuit of perfection? There's no right answer, just an invitation to notice. In our next conversation, we'll explore 4 more things that lose their importance after 70, including some surprises that might really make you rethink how you spend your precious time and energy. But before we go, I'd love to hear from you. What's something you've already let go of in your 70s that's made life better? Share your stories below. Your wisdom might inspire someone else to release what's no longer serving them. Here's to living lighter, happier, and truer to ourselves. Until next time, there's a certain magic that happens when you cross into your 70s. Suddenly, the things that once seemed so important start to feel optional. Like carrying around a heavy suitcase, only to realize you've had the key to open it and leave what you don't need behind all along. In our last chat, we talked about letting go of opinions, trends, and perfection. Today, we're going to explore 3 more burdens you might not realize you can finally set down. Thing number 4, the need to be constantly productive. Raise your hand if you've ever felt guilty for wasting an afternoon reading or napping. For decades, many of us measured our worth by how much we accomplished each day. But after 70, your productivity report card expires. And what a relief that is. Take my friend Robert, a retired engineer who used to make daily to-do lists longer than his arm. One morning, he found himself watching squirrels in the park for a full hour. At first, he scolded himself for being lazy, until it hit him. That peaceful hour brought him more joy than any crossed-off task ever had. Here's the truth. Your value isn't in what you produce. It's in who you are. The world doesn't need more from you. It needs you to enjoy the time you've earned. Thing number 5, old grudges. This one might surprise you because grudges can feel comfortable, like familiar, if uncomfortable, shoes we've worn for years. But after 70, holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to get sick. Consider Sarah, who hadn't spoken to her sister in 15 years over an inheritance dispute. At 73, she decided to send a simple note, "Life's too short. I miss you." That note led to weekly phone calls and, eventually, a cross-country reunion. Sarah told me, all those years I thought I was punishing her, I was really just punishing myself. Now, I'm not saying you have to forgive everyone, but ask yourself, is this grudge still serving me? Or is it just taking up space where peace could be? Thing number 6. The fear of missing out. FOMO. In our younger years, FOMO had us attending events we didn't enjoy, keeping up with friends we didn't really like, and saying yes when we wanted to say no. After 70, you have JOMO, the joy of missing out. My neighbor Evelyn used to force herself to go to every senior center activity, even when exhausted. Then she gave herself permission to stay home with her cat and a good book. Her revelation? Turns out the world keeps turning whether I show up or not, and I'm much happier. This isn't about withdrawing from life. It's about being intentional with your time and energy. If it doesn't light you up, you can let it go. No explanation needed. A moment to reflect. As we pause here, I'd love you to consider, which of these resonates most? The productivity guilt, the old grudges, or the FOMO? Maybe all three? There's no test, just an opportunity to notice what might be weighing on you without you realizing. In our final installment, we'll explore the 7th and perhaps most liberating thing to release after 70, along with practical ways to make this letting go feel natural and joyful. But before we go, I'm curious. What's something you've given yourself permission to stop doing in your 70s? Your experiences in the comments could be exactly the encouragement someone else needs today. Here's to lightening our loads and lifting our spirits. Until next time, there's a reason this final letting go comes last, because it's often the hardest and yet the most transformative. We've talked about releasing opinions, trends, perfectionism, productivity guilt, old grudges, and FOMO. Now we come to the grand finale of liberation, the one thing that, when released, can make all the others fall into place naturally. Thing number 7, the need to control everything. For decades, we've been the CEOs of our lives, managing households, careers, children, schedules. But after 70, that constant need to steer every outcome starts to feel less like responsibility and more like exhaustion. Let me tell you about my friend Arthur. At 76, he was still micromanaging his grown daughter's finances, his wife's grocery list, even how his grandson played Little League. Then one rainy Tuesday, he had an epiphany while watching the birds at his feeder. Those sparrows don't stress about next week's seeds, he realized. They trust they'll be provided for. That moment began his journey into what I call graceful surrender. This isn't about giving up, it's about giving over. Recognizing that the world keeps turning beautifully even when we're not the ones spinning it. The ripple effect of letting go. When you begin releasing these 7 things, something miraculous happens. Like Edith, who stopped obsessing over housekeeping and rediscovered her love of watercolors. Or Carlos, who let go of old workplace rivalries and found himself making new friends at the community garden. The space created by letting go doesn't stay empty, it gets filled with what truly matters. Deeper connections, rediscovered passions, the simple joy of being rather than doing. Practical first steps. If you're thinking, this sounds nice, but how do I start? Try this. 1. The 1-inch rule. Each day, release control over one small thing. Let someone else choose the restaurant. Leave a dish unwashed until morning. 2. Gratitude inventory. When old habits creep in, list 3 things that went beautifully without your intervention recently. 3. The question. Ask yourself, will this matter in a year? To anyone? If not, let it go today. Asterisk. Closing thoughts. As we wrap up, remember this. Letting go isn't loss, it's making room. Room for peace, for joy, for whatever you want to fill your days with now that you're no longer carrying what no longer serves you. I'd love to hear which of these 7 resonated most with you. What's one thing you'll try releasing this week? Your wisdom in the comments could spark someone else's liberation. Here's to your lightest, brightest chapter yet. Don't forget to subscribe for more conversations about thriving after 70. Until next time, keep letting go and keep living fully.